Watch what happens to people the second they feel wanted. The quiet guy becomes funny. The detached girl suddenly starts posting softer pictures. The intellectual pretends he doesn't care about labels anymore because someone touched his arm at a party once. People literally change accents depending on who they're attracted to. You think your personality is stable? Please. The human brain is a sexual adaptation machine with a LinkedIn account. A woman starts dating a rich guy, and suddenly, peace matters more. A guy starts dating a cold woman, and now he's researching attachment theory, like preparing for war. A girl who used to argue politics meets a man who hates politics, and now she's into hiking. You think this is love. A lot of the time, it's biological negotiation. Even confidence is fake at the time. Watch a guy after one attractive woman becomes obsessed with him. His posture changes, his voice slows down. He starts acting like life finally makes sense now. Watch the same guy after rejection. Now he's at the gym, listening to podcasts about discipline and masculine purpose. Human beings do not become themselves. They become whoever gives them the highest chance of emotional survival. When you say someone changed when they fell in love, you're not being poetic. Their brain is on cocaine, the same dopamine pathway, the same obsessive loops, the same activation pattern that addicts show looking at a baggie. Helen Fisher at Rutgers spent 20 years putting people in MRI scanners to confirm what every poet has been saying for 3,000 years. The wiring is identical. Their reward system gets hijacked the way a slot machine hijacks a gambler. Their identity reorganizes around the source of the dopamine. That's not metaphor. That's how the wiring works. Which is why people develop entire new personalities for relationships that last 6 months. She picks up his speech patterns within a month, and her parents notice before she does. He rewrites his taste in music after dating a girl with better taste, and 10 years later, he still listens to her favorite band and tells people he discovered them. A woman becomes vaguely spiritual after dating a guy who meditated and never quite stops, and now believes in energy the way she used to believe in skepticism. None of them are lying. They're being rewired in real time and don't notice it. Watch the friend who got engaged and suddenly his political opinions match her father's. Watch a girl date a man 12 years older and lose her sense of humor for a year and a half before getting it back. Watch a guy date a woman who reads and read more in 3 months than he did in the previous 10 years. And stop the second she leaves him. Your nervous system is constantly running cost-benefit on who's in the room and adjusting who you are accordingly. It's not conscious. It's not optional. It's older than you, older than language, older than the idea of having a self at all. And this is why heartbreak feels like ego death. When a relationship ends, you don't just lose a person. You lose the version of yourself that existed because of them. The jokes that only landed with them. The vocabulary you used only with them. The version of you that was funnier, sharper, more interesting because their attention was on you. That person dies with the relationship, and you grieve them in a way nobody around you understands because they only knew you as one of your other versions. Your sense of self literally shrinks, not metaphorically, measurably. Asked to describe themselves after a breakup, people use fewer words, smaller vocabulary, less specific descriptions, like part of them got deleted. Aron at Stony Brook has been quantifying this for 30 years and calls it self-concept shrinkage, which is the most academic way possible of saying a piece of you died, and you can prove it on a test, which is exactly what happened. Ancient religions understood this better than modern psychology does. Every spiritual tradition that ever banned lust wasn't doing it because sex was evil. They were doing it because desire reorganizes identity. And once you've watched a few civilizations collapse over it, you start to see the pattern. People will betray values, friendships, ambitions, entire belief systems, just to continue feeling desired. History is full of men destroying kingdoms over women, and women destroying themselves over men who barely liked them. We've been doing this for 10,000 years, and we still act surprised every time someone we know does something stupid for love. The modern version is just smaller in scale. You sit in your car in a parking lot at 11 p.m., refreshing one person's Instagram for the third time in an hour. You know exactly what you're doing, and you do it anyway, because the version of you that existed when they were paying attention to you is more interesting than the version of you that exists right now. And refreshing the page is the closest thing you have to bringing her back. Most of what looks like love in adult life is grief in advance, terror of losing the self you became around someone. You think your personality formed in childhood, hardened by your 20s, settled into who you are, but your personality is being rewritten constantly. Every relationship rewires you a little. Every rejection rewires you in a different direction. Every time someone you wanted to want you decided they didn't, your nervous system updated the file. By the time you're 30, you're not so much a person as a sediment, layer after layer of attempts to be wantable. Maybe most of what you call yourself is just the accumulation of who rewarded you, who rejected you, who desired you, who ignored you, who made you feel safe, and who made you feel impossible to love. Maybe identity is not something you find. Maybe it's something your nervous system has been negotiating socially for survival since the day you were old enough to notice someone looking back at you. And maybe the version of you that you think is most you, the one you'd describe to a stranger, the one you defend in fights, the one you think you'd be even alone on an island, is just the version that's been wanted the longest. Sit with that for a second. The personality you defend like it's sacred, the opinions you'd lose friends over, the taste in music, the politics, the way you laugh, the things you find pathetic in other people, all of it. A negotiated arrangement between your nervous system and whoever happened to be looking at you when it mattered. And the second someone new starts wanting you, the version of you that exists around them is already forming. Right now, while you're listening to this, your nervous system has probably already started rewriting itself for somebody you haven't even met yet. So before you ask who you are, maybe ask who's been wanting you lately, because that's the answer. Or who stopped wanting you. That's the other answer. And here's the part that's actually disturbing if you let it land. The voice in your head right now, evaluating everything I just said, deciding whether you agree, whether this applies to you, whether you're the exception. That voice is also negotiated. You picked up its tone from somebody. The way it pushes back on uncomfortable ideas is a habit you developed because it worked on someone whose approval you needed once. Even the version of you that's listening to this, measuring it, accepting parts, rejecting parts, is downstream of who's been wanting you. There is no neutral observer in there, just another negotiated arrangement, reading a video, deciding what it's allowed to feel about itself. Comments are open. Name the person who rewrote you the hardest. Don't think about it for too long. Watch how fast their face came to you. That speed is the answer.